Hi, I'm Rita Peterson with Everything Homemade, and today I'm going to show you how to preserve your yogurt and buttermilk cultures. And this is so important because sometimes you want to take a break from yogurt or buttermilk making. Sometimes, in my case, I would like a backup just in case something goes wrong with my cultures that I'm using. The other thing is that my milk comes from my milk cows, and there is a time where I need to dry them up before they calf, and I'm gonna have no milk for 3 months this year, and that's a big deal. So I need to preserve my cultures, and there's a few different ways you can do that. One of the most common ways is just to freeze your yogurt or buttermilk culture in. Some like to put them in ice cube trays, and that way you can just pop out how much you need to restart again. I also have just, put some yogurt in a already used yogurt container and thrown it into the freezer, and that works as well. I find that works really good in the freezer if you know it's only going to be frozen for 1 to 2 months. After that, you can still use it, but I find that the culture isn't as strong. So last year I did an experiment. I actually dried my own culture, and you can see the label here. It's December 21st, 2020, and right now it's kind of funny that I'm filming this right now because it's actually December 20, 2021. So we're within a day, we're exactly 1 year. Now I have had this in my fridge the entire year, and a few weeks ago I was like, you know what, I really need to test this out. So 2 weeks ago I am like, you know what, I really need to test out to see if that culture I dried will actually activate, because I would like to dry some more culture to keep my dried backup culture new and not getting so old. And it was unbelievable, the results. If somebody tells you that you only got a few months on dried culture that you have made, they're absolutely wrong, because this is a year and there was nothing wrong when I activated it. So really, I don't see why this wouldn't even last longer. So in this video, we're gonna make some dried yogurt and buttermilk culture to store, and I'm gonna show you how really simple this is. And then the next video, I'm going to actually activate it. I'm going to show you how to take your powdered culture and activate it. Now, there's a little bit of a process to it, but it's really simple. What I really want to teach you is understanding culture. So right now, we're going to take an active, very active culture that I've been refreshing for the last year every week. So I make yogurt actually 2 times a week. I refresh my buttermilk once a week. Now my buttermilk culture is used strictly for cheese making. If I have extra, I do bake with it or I eat it, but 90% of the time it is my cheese making culture for my cheddar cheese and cottage cheese. So it's really, really important that I preserve this culture, because I like the flavor and the texture, and I don't want to have to start from scratch and lose that again. So let me show you how to make this. So right now I'm just gonna show you what I got set up. I have the American Harvest food dehydrator, so that's what I'm gonna be using. My coolest setting on here is 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, so that's the setting I want to use. You really want to dry your culture under 100 Fahrenheit. Over 100 Fahrenheit and you have cooked your culture. The other thing I have is this is just the tray that belongs on the dehydrator, and you can get a screen that goes on here, so if you got smaller things it doesn't fall through the holes. But it also comes with a fruit leather insert as well, and this is really nice if you want to dehydrate milk, or if you want to dehydrate eggs, or any kind of liquids, or of course fruit leather. But I also like to use it to dehydrate my cultures. If you don't have one of these inserts, I would definitely just go and grab some parchment paper and cut it to fit in your tray and put it on. It's really important. So I'm going to be using these. Right now I'm just going to put it on my tray here. I actually have two trays. One's going to be my yogurt tray and one's going to be my buttermilk tray. And before we even get any further into this, we need to label, because when they're dried, you can't tell the difference. So I'm just going to write here buttermilk as BM, buttermilk. What I'm going to do is just stick that label on the side of my tray, just like that. And then on my second tray, I'm going to just put a Y for yogurt. And of course, I mean, technically you don't even really need to label this second tray, but I'm just going to anyway. So I have it. So now I have my trays all labeled. And I should also say that all of these inserts here I have already washed and disinfected. So I just washed it with normal soap and water and wiped it dry with some paper towel and got it ready. So they're all clean, my hands are clean, all my utensils that I'm using, everything is clean. So I'm just make sure that your workspace is clean and disinfected, because you don't want to introduce any other bacteria. So the next step is taking your culture. So I'm going to do the buttermilk culture first. So make sure you grab the right tray. So this is my buttermilk culture here, and I really want to preserve this. This culture is so gorgeous. I've been using it for a year now, refreshing it every week, and has kept going. Smells great, tastes great, makes awesome cheddar cheese and my cottage cheese. So I really want to keep this going and don't want to lose it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to place this on top of the tray just for ease of showing you guys, is I'm going to take some of this culture. I'm just going to mix it a little because the whey separates from the buttermilk culture. I just want to make sure everything's evenly distributed. So I'm going to put half of my remaining culture into this cup. I'm going to leave a little bit behind because I will be refreshing this a couple more times here before she's totally dry. Make cheese one more time. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to stir this. The reason why I'm stirring this is just to make it smooth so there's no lumps. Okay, after you stirred it, now what we want to do is just spill it onto the tray. And from there, then what I like to do with the back of my spoon is just thin it out so it's not so thick. That way it dries faster. So this will turn into a lot of powdered culture, but that's okay. Okay, so it should look something like that. So this looks really good, and I'm just going to set it aside for a moment. And I'm going to grab some of my yogurt here that is just freshly made. Now what I want to do is bring something up that's really important. Up on top of here you can see the cream line. I sure hope you can, but if you can't, let's take a scoop out of here. So I made this just the other day, and you can see that it's really nice and thick. There's no additives in here. This is just my yogurt culture and milk. But you can see this top layer has that beautiful rich cream on it. And when I'm preserving culture, the fat is going to go rancid quicker than the milk. So what I like to do is I don't like to just take some yogurt right off the top, because I don't want to have this fat when I'm when I'm making my powder. So what I'm going to do is actually just set this aside. I will put this into containers in the fridge because we will be having this for breakfast. So it kind of looks like this, and you can now see the beautiful heavy cream. Like, this is a Greek yogurt at its finest. So the next step is the exact same from here. I'm going to take a few of these scoops of yogurt here, just like that. That's all you need. I just took two heaping tablespoons. I want to mix it up. And now I want my trays back. I'm just going to swap them. And now let's do the exact same thing. And you'll notice here that the yogurt will be a lot thicker. That's because it's a different culture. Buttermilk is a lot thinner of a culture. So this is totally normal. This is okay. And again, I'm going to just evenly distribute it on the tray, just like so. Okay, that's looking really, really good. And then the next thing you need to do is take your dehydrator. Now, normally I do this downstairs where I have it all set up, but I figured I'll just show you up here and I'll just transfer it downstairs after. But all you need to do is, from here, just put it on your dehydrator, just like that. Make sure you put the top on, and then put it on your lowest setting and plug it in. So that is it. That's how simple it is. So we are exactly 24 hours later. Let's take a look at our cultures. Look at that. You notice how dry it is. It's actually cracked and lifted up. So the top tray here was the yogurt culture. And so the bottom tray here is our buttermilk culture. And again, you see the cracking, you see how nice and dry it is. And that's what you want. So when you touch it, you can feel how dry it is. Okay? You can actually move the pieces around and you know, yep, it's done. Okay, so I'm going to do the buttermilk culture first. What I like to do, instead of just taking little pieces at a time off this tray, and when you're gathering, it's really easy to push it over the edge, which is really annoying and it's time consuming that way. I just like getting a bigger bowl, a bowl that is big enough that my tray can fit in, and I just dump it. So for me, that's a much faster method. And then from here, it's so much simpler to, then I can scoop it out and into the bag. Now remember, your hands should be clean. I washed my hands before I started doing this, so everything's clean. This is a brand new bag. This is just a normal sandwich Ziploc bag. So now I'm just going to put the culture in the bag. Okay, so now that I have my culture in the bag, I want to just squeeze out all the air as much as you can. And then labeling is super important. I use a lot of painter's tape for labeling. Buttermilk and I know it's culture, obviously. And then the date. The date is super important. So today is December 21st. So December 21st, 21. And so that is super critical. Always put the date on there. And then I'm just going to take it off my roll, put it on, and done. So let's do the same thing for the yogurt. So remember, you guys, you cannot use this bowl that you just used for your buttermilk. This is now, we'll call it, contaminated with the buttermilk culture. So you either need to wash out this bowl, dry it up, sit for the yogurt culture, or grab a new bowl. And in my case, because of ease, and I have lots of these bowls, I'm just going to grab a new bowl right now. So here's my new bowl. Here's my yogurt culture. Again, I'm just going to put it into the bowl. On this one here, I'm going to break it up just a little bit more. Just because the pieces are a little bit bigger, I'm just going to make it a little smaller. There you go. Okay, using a new bag. So once again, close up your bag and then label. Just like that. Now that I have my buttermilk culture and my yogurt culture all ready to be stored, I'm just going to put in the fridge. I had my other yogurt culture in the fridge for 1 year and it was just fine starting it up, so I'm going to do the exact same thing since I'm going to be needing these in 3 months. So I'm going to show you where I put mine in the fridge. Hi, so where I put it is actually just in this little compartment in my door, and I hardly use it for anything else in all honesty, so it doesn't really get in the way. And here are my older cultures. So remember, I did this December 21st, 2020, and we're exactly to the year. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove the old culture because now I just refreshed it. And I'm going to place in the new. Just kind of tuck it in there. And then that's it. Now that your culture is tucked into sleep, ready to be used when you need it, the next thing that you need to know is how to take that dry culture and revive it and get your nice yogurt back. So that's going to be the next video. I hope that this really helped you, and I will see you on the next video.